A Killer 10. A Raven Darkblade Mystery. Chapter 1. Beach, Please. The sun set over Crimson City Beach like a giant orange being lowered into water by invisible stagehands who'd definitely done this before. Detective Raven Darkblade sat across from his date at the Crusty Barnacle, a beachside restaurant that promised food so fresh it might swim away, but delivered food so old it might walk away. He was currently 5'11", his optimal dating height, wearing his best Hawaiian shirt, the one with only 3 stains, under his trademark trench coat because nothing said beach casual like a full-length coat in 85-degree weather. "So," said Summer Tides, her name as perfect as her smile, "you solve murders for a living? That must be fascinating." "Oh, yes." Raven lied smoothly, spreading butter on bread with the confidence of someone who definitely solved murders on purpose. "Just last week I caught a serial killer. The FBI even asked me to consult." This was technically true if you didn't examine it closely or at all. Summer looked impressed, which made her eyes sparkle like the ocean. Or maybe that was just the questionable seafood restaurant lighting. She wore a sundress the color of seafoam and sandals that had actually seen sand, unlike most beachwear in Crimson City. "That's amazing," she said, genuinely interested. "I work in marine biology, so the most exciting thing I see is usually aggressive seaweed. Your job must be so intense." "Marine biology?" Raven asked, relieved to change the subject from his fictional competence. "Like fish science?" She laughed, warm and genuine. "Something like that. I study tidal patterns and their effects on local ecosystems. Much less exciting than murder." "I don't know," Raven said, attempting charm. "Tides are very consistent, reliable. Unlike murder, which is inconsistent and unreliable." "Smooth," Summer teased. "Is that your detective training talking?" Their waiter, whose name tag read Gil, because of course it did, brought their entrees. Raven had ordered the catch of the day, which turned out to be depression garnished with tartar sauce. Summer had the grilled salmon, which she ate like a normal person on a normal date. "So how did a marine biologist end up in Crimson City?" Raven asked, proud of himself for asking a real date question. "Work," Summer said simply. "The university has a great oceanography program. Plus, the beach here has some unique tidal characteristics I'm studying for my PhD." "PhD?" Raven's height increased to 6 feet 0 inches with impressed insecurity. "That's very educated," says the detective who consults with the FBI. She smiled. "I think your job requires more smarts than mine. I just count fish and measure water levels." "Water levels are important," Raven said, having no idea if this was true. Before Raven could respond with something about tides being very tidal, a scream pierced the evening air, like a seagull with ambition. "There's a body in the water." Every head on the restaurant's deck turned toward the beach. Sure enough, something was washing up with the waves, tumbling in the surf like the world's worst surfer. "I should probably," Raven started, his height dropping to 5 feet 9 inches with reluctance. "Go," Summer said quickly, then catching herself, I mean, you're a detective. You should investigate. Raven stood, his trench coat immediately catching the wind and making him look like the world's worst superhero. He trudged down to the beach, Summer following despite his "stay here where it's safe," which came out more like "stay here where it's dry." The body had washed up wearing a tuxedo and flippers, which was a fashion choice that raised questions. It was a man, middle-aged, with the kind of tan that suggested money and poor judgment in equal measure. "Oh my God," Summer gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. She turned away quickly, looking genuinely disturbed. Is he dead?" "Very," Raven confirmed, using his extensive experience of seeing dead people and recognizing their deadness. "See how he's not moving? Classic sign." "I think I'm going to be sick," Summer said, and she did look pale. "I've never seen a... Sorry, I need a moment." She walked a few steps away, taking deep breaths. Raven felt bad for ruining their date with a corpse, which seemed to be his signature move. A crowd was gathering, including 2 beach patrol officers, who looked like they'd rather be anywhere else, possibly even in the ocean with the body. "Nobody touch anything," Raven commanded, immediately touching everything. "This is a crime scene." "How do you know it's a crime?" Beach Patrol Officer Sandy Shores asked. "Could be a swimming accident." "People don't usually swim in tuxedos," Raven pointed out. "It's Crimson City," everyone said in unison. "Fair point." Raven knelt beside the body, trying to look professional while avoiding getting his pants wet. The victim had something clutched in his hand, a piece of paper, waterlogged but still readable. "You had your chance," Raven read aloud. "Now you're all washed up. Signed with a... What is that? A wave emoji." "A calling card," Summer said, still looking shaky. "Like in movies." "You watch crime shows?" Raven asked. "Sometimes. My roommate's obsessed with them. I usually just study during them. But you pick things up." She wrapped her arms around herself. "This is horrible. That poor man." Beach Patrol was already sectioning off the area with tape that said "beach closed," which seemed redundant since the dead body was doing that job pretty effectively. "I'm going to need statements from everyone," Officer Shores announced, "starting with whoever found the body." "That would be..." Raven looked around. The original screamer had vanished like responsibility at a group project. "I guess we saw it at the same time as whoever screamed," Summer said. "God, I can't believe this is happening. My first real date in months and..." "This is a date?" Raven asked, his height shooting up with hope. Despite everything, she smiled weakly. "I thought so, though this isn't exactly how I pictured it ending." "Great," Officer Shores sighed. "A detective and a witness. This'll take all night. Hope you didn't have plans." "Just dinner," Summer said, glancing at the body with an expression that might have been shock or might have been satisfaction. "But I suppose some things are more important than seafood." As crime scene techs arrived and began processing the beach like the world's worst archaeological dig, Raven noticed something odd. Summer hadn't screamed when they saw the body, hadn't gasped. Her first reaction had been to check her watch. "You okay?" he asked, First dead body is always rough. Oh, this isn't my first, she said, then quickly added, I mean on TV. I've seen lots on TV. Crime shows. Love them. Can't get enough of murder. Her laugh was nervous, like a seagull that had just realized it was actually a pigeon. Detective Darkblade, a familiar voice called out. Jenny Shouts Loud from the Crimson City PD was jogging down the beach. Heard the call on the scanner. What have we got? Dead body, tuxedo, flippers, Raven summarized. The usual Tuesday night special. It's Saturday, Jenny corrected. Time is relative, Raven said wisely, having no idea what that meant. Jenny pulled out her notepad. Victim is Richard Washman, age 52, local real estate developer. That's his yacht out there. She pointed to a boat anchored offshore that probably cost more than Raven's entire apartment building. How do you know all that already? Raven asked. His wallet was in his tuxedo pocket. Waterproof, thankfully. Who brings their wallet swimming? Summer asked. Someone who wasn't planning on swimming, Jenny said darkly. And your name is? Jenny asked, pulling out her notepad. Summer Tides, Summer said, then made a face. I know. My parents were hippies. With a name like this, I was destined to either study the ocean or become a surfing instructor. Summer Tides, Jenny wrote slowly. And you were here when the body washed up with the tide. Worst coincidence ever, Summer said, looking miserable. I studied tides for a living and now, this. I'm probably going to think about this every time I look at my data. You're a scientist? Jenny asked, her suspicion easing slightly. Marine biologist. PhD candidate at the university. I can show you my ID if you need it. That would be helpful, actually. Summer pulled out her wallet, revealing a university ID, a library card, and what looked like several coffee shop loyalty cards. Normal wallet stuff. As they were led to the beach patrol station, Raven couldn't shake the feeling that this was the worst first date in history. Well, second worst. The puppet murder one was still number one. Summer walked beside him, hugging herself against the evening breeze. I'm sorry, she said quietly. For what? Raven asked, confused. I don't know. The date's ruined. That poor man is dead. Everything's just awful. She looked genuinely upset. You probably think I'm bad luck now. No, Raven said quickly, his height reaching 6 feet 1 inch with the need to comfort. This isn't your fault. If anything, I'm the bad luck. Bodies tend to show up around me. Really? Oh, yes. Last week it was ventriloquist dummies. This week, beach bodies. Next week, who knows? Maybe archaeological murders. She laughed despite everything, a genuine sound that made the evening slightly less horrible. Archaeological murders? Someone killed with ancient pottery. It could happen. This is Crimson City. You're funny, she said, surprising him. I didn't expect that from a serious detective. I'm not that serious, Raven admitted. Or that good a detective, honestly. Could have fooled me. You took charge down there like you knew exactly what you were doing. If only she knew, Raven thought, that his taking charge was mostly panic, disguised as authority. As they reached the station, Summer turned to him. Look, I know this is probably the worst timing ever, but if we both survive giving witness statements, would you maybe want to try this again? Somewhere with no beach access? Really? Raven's height shot to 6 feet 2 inches with shocked delight. Well, you've already seen me at my worst, nearly throwing up at a crime scene. It can only go up from here, right? I'd like that, Raven said, meaning it. Great. Now let's go tell them how we found the body and ruined everyone's beach day. As they entered the station, Raven felt oddly optimistic. Sure, there was a dead man in a tuxedo and flippers. Sure, his date had been derailed by murder. Again. But Summer wanted to see him again. And that was something. In Crimson City, you took your victories where you could get them. Even if they came with a body count. To be continued, hopefully with less murder. Author's note: this chapter is dedicated to everyone who's ever had a first date interrupted by circumstances beyond their control, though hopefully not murder. Also to marine biologists everywhere who just want to study tides without finding bodies in them. Any resemblance to actual beach murders is purely coincidental and deeply concerning. Please don't wear tuxedos while swimming.